What's up guys, it's Shisui. Welcome to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about the arc Romance Dawn.
Fuck you thinking, nah, ain't doing no more favors. Never need a nigga just to make me famous. Lil nigga flow go crazy, and them other niggas can't tame it. Flame it, flame it. All of the niggas that doubt it. All y'all niggas some cowards. All y'all niggas step up and get devoured. 6 feet deep with a bouquet of flowers. Tell me what am I supposed to do? Cause respect for mine is so overdue. I'm the best in it, just pay attention, take a closer view, cause what I'm supposed to do.
I haven't reread One Piece for quite some time. Anyways, I'm doing a video on every arc where I'll dissect the relevance of each arc and the impact of it on me personally. We're starting with one of my top 5 favorite arcs in One Piece, Romance Dawn. If you didn't know, Romance Dawn refers to the 2 stories written by Oda before One Piece, but set in a similar world. When Oda was a first-year junior high school student, he sketched out some ideals for a pirate-themed manga in his notebook. Years later, while being an assistant on Kenshin, he refined his ideals into what will become Romance Dawn, and later, One Piece. All 3 versions got publicized in Weekly Shōnen Jump magazine, with the final incarnation published exactly 1 year after the first. There were significant alterations to the premise and plot over the course of the 3 chapters, primarily being the art style, but some other things too. Originally, Garp gave Luffy the straw hat, which I thought was pretty cool. Also, version 1 never mentions Roger. Luffy just wanted to have some adventures. The version we're going to stick with today is the one we all know, which is the last version, or the one you see in the official. It's the first story arc in the East Blue Saga, and it's broken down into 3 parts. How Luffy got his Devil Fruit, meeting Kobe, and getting his first crewmate, defeating Morgans in the process, bringing the total chapters to 7. You know you are truly alive when you're front row witnessing the origin of a story that Oda has carefully crafted. We begin with the execution of Gold D. Roger, probably one of the most significant moments in One Piece. This is how you begin a shonen manga series, ladies and gentlemen. This is the smell of adventure, the opening to something great, the spark that sets everything into motion. Every man's life ends the same way. It is only the details of how he lived and how he died that distinguish one man from another. We start off with the introduction in chapter 1 to the current greatest pirate in the One Piece story, pirate captain, red hair, Shanks, and his crew. This seemingly cheerful group of pirates who set the tone of the chapter in this small day bar. A lot of the stuff that happened in this chapter that still get brought up today, 900 chapters later, gives me chills just thinking about it. But the first character I want to talk about is Ben Beckman. If I was to define this character with one word, it would be wisdom. He wasn't really in much of this chapter, but I think what he said to Luffy really left an impression on me. Luffy is this kid who really looks up to these pirates that came into this village a year ago. He does things to show them that he's serious about joining the crew, such as stabbing his face. But Ben Beckman tells Luffy the captain is doing what is best for everyone, that being a pirate isn't all fun and games, despite what it may seem like, which I thought was a brilliant way of Oda simultaneously telling us adventure doesn't always mean that Luffy will experience cheerful times. There will be sadness, pain, regret, and times things won't always go your way. It's the responsibility of a captain to look out for the safety of his crew. I wasn't really surprised being told later on that Ben Beckman was the smartest man in East Blue. He was the first one to say that Luffy would make something of himself. And it was also pretty satisfying watching him beat the living crap out of the mountain bandits single-handedly. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the greatest pirate living in the One Piece story. The man Gold Roger gave his hat to. To me, the way Oda shows his character is one that doesn't necessarily like violence, but will use it if the situation is necessary. The first time we see this is when Shanks gets a bottle of rum broken over his head, where he doesn't react to Higuma the bandit, instead calmly begins to pick up the broken glass on the floor, even asking Makino for something to clean it up. Even after he gets ridiculed, he shows he's the bigger man and just laughs it off. Despite Luffy being angry at Shanks and his crew, Shanks tells him that one day you will understand, which eventually Luffy does. To me, Shanks isn't a pacifist entirely. I mean, he understands that in the end, he's a pirate. Lucky Roo put a bullet in someone's head that pointed a pistol at Shanks while eating a chicken wing, and both of them didn't even bat an eye. That's how serious his crew is, at times. He goes on to utter that what we've seen Luffy do so many times, good reason or not, nobody hurts a friend of mine. When Shanks lost his arm, he lost it purposely to show Luffy why he wouldn't take him out to sea. It's the most important lesson Shanks gave Luffy, that until he was stronger, he could not set out to sea. Okay guys, what was the purpose of this character? Why was she put before Captain Morgan? You see, in order to showcase what Luffy has learned over the past decade, or 12 years to be precise, we had to see how he would act when put into a situation by himself. Alvida is a simplistic character. To put it best, she's the most basic form of a plot device. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Oda accomplishes his purpose by laying the framework of what most pirates can be like in the East Blue. Oda kinda draws some similarities with the evil queen from Snow White, with the famous quote of "Who is the fairest throughout all the seas?" And I also find it kind of funny that the apples were the first fruit Luffy ate on the ship, being the fruit that the evil queen offers to Snow White. But from the most basic standpoint, she's there to showcase, she's the first villain that Luffy encounters, but primarily she's there, to introduce another character. Anyways, the character that gets the focus is Koby. He's Luffy's first friend, arguably. He was forced into servitude by Alvida involuntarily for 2 years, which Luffy points out makes Koby incredibly, ridiculously stupid for, because he couldn't work up the courage to escape. But Luffy's boundless optimism and pursuit of his dreams sparks Koby's to want to accomplish his dream as well. He's actually incredibly perceptive for his age, and after seeing Luffy and Zoro's actions against the Marines, was able to change his naive belief in the blanketed integrity of the Marines to strengthen his resolve to become a real Marine. You're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think being the most important lesson Oda intentionally molded into this character. But I'll do a much better analysis on Koby later on. Captain Morgan. He's one of the most overlooked people in the One Piece story. If you take a closer look, you would notice that Captain Morgan basically embodies the current dynamic of the world government and Marines in One Piece. Power doesn't corrupt people. People corrupt power. He talks about how he's so great and is filled with self-proclaimed nobility of being better than others because he holds the highest rank. Boasted by the fake capture of Captain Kuro, he becomes corrupted by this said power. He expects payment from the citizens of Shelltown. He rules by fear and oppression, and nobody thinks twice to defy him because of how mighty the Marines seem. He built a statue to honor himself and doesn't think twice about killing his own men. It's what happens when you give power to someone who doesn't have a sense of moral justice. Sound familiar? Shit, his son even reminds me of a celestial dragon. Anyways, after his defeat, it's celebrated by the Marines, which makes me think the same thing might happen to the world government. I gotta save best for last. Roronoa Zoro. Luffy's first crewmate and right-hand man. Zoro pre-time skip greatness. Reading this chapter reminded me why he's my third favorite Straw Hat. He's described as a demon and gets fully revealed in chapter 3, being tied up by Captain Morgan's son, Helmeppo, after he sticks his neck out for a little girl named Rika. He makes a bet with Helmeppo that he would survive for a month being tied up, only to be told by Koby later on he was betrayed and will soon be executed. It just provides another example of the corruption in the Marines, but I really want to focus on him joining the crew. The way Oda creates this moment between two characters is a stroke of genius. Every Straw Hat member joins out of the will they have, but it stems from a different place from each one. You could say there's syllogism between it all, but there is a paradigm you have to recognize as the unmethodical method Oda uses to pull you in as a reader in these significant moments. It's refined, it's been done before, but it's genuine and it feels authentic. Zoro talks about how he has a stronger will than Luffy, and Luffy's instincts tell him that there's more to Zoro than this, coupled with the fact that Zoro wants to be the greatest swordsman, fitting for someone who wants to be the pirate king. Even amongst two demons, there are two people of integrity. This is possible because Shanks molded Luffy the same way Kushiro and Kuena fueled Zoro's ambitions. I want to point out a particular moment that happened during this arc. Notice the way Luffy offers Zoro an ultimatum, testing to see if he would rather be killed by the Navy or fight them. Zoro acknowledges that he's just as batshit crazy as him. That's not because he's a pirate or because he's stronger than them. It's because it's two people motivated by a similar singularity. Take every chance you get in life because some things only happen once. Romance Dawn sets the tone for One Piece story as a basis for an adventure. I miss the pirate language and the execution Oda did to not waste his use of panel time, spending every detail he has on keeping the focus on what exactly he needs to. Brilliantly accomplished, hooking readers into the story and this ongoing narrative. It's honestly in my top 15 openings for any manga series. It hooks you right in. I give Romance Dawn a 9 out of 10. My only complaint being how quickly the antagonists were done. Okay guys, that's gonna do it for me today. Like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And as always, you can find me in the Discord. I'll link. Turn your notifications on and stay tuned for my next videos.